Hi, second grade. How are you today? Oh my goodness, we're getting ready to dive into three-digit numbers. Can you believe it? You've done so much with two-digit numbers, and now we're getting ready to dive into three-digit. That means you have a hundreds, a tens, and a ones place. Whew. I think you guys are gonna be rock stars. We're gonna start out simple and we'll get a little bit more challenging as the week goes on. Are you ready? Let's get our target ready first. I can understand hundreds in different ways. What does that mean we can understand hundreds? What are hundreds? Yes, they're like 100, 200, 300, 400, and we can go on and on and on, can't we? Yes. When we understand them, that means that we can describe them, we know what they look like, we can identify them, we can break them apart and show them in different ways. We can do all sorts of stuff with them and we can really understand what 100 is. So in order to do that, let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to show you a hundreds chart. Now, we do a lot of 120 charts in second grade. So I'm going to show you my hundreds chart first. I'm going to cover up those bottom two rows. So ignore those numbers underneath my fingers. What do you notice about this chart? There's a 1. There's a 100 right there in the corner, right there. What do you notice about that number 100? It has 3 digits. Do the other ones have 3 digits? No, they don't. What else do you notice? Ooh, you're right. When we see 100, we can actually count by tens. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. We could keep going if we wanted to. We're not going to right now. Okay. How many tens do we have in 100? Let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 tens. How many little boxes do we have? 100. What are those little boxes worth? 1. Absolutely. Can I show you something kind of cool? You guys are going to have lots of chances to look at these different tools. These are called our base 10 blocks, okay? This little block right here, and if I zoom in, you might be able to see the little grid on there. It's just like that 100 grid I just showed you, except it doesn't have any numbers. It still has those rows of 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's 10 in each row. And those rows, let's count how many rows we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Just like this 100 grid. If I was to count how many I have in each row, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And now we know we have 10 rows. So we have 10 rows of 10, which is the same thing as 100. But can I show something else? You guys also, and you've done this before, you also will have seen and have drawn these, right? Again, if you look up close, you can see the little grid lines. These are a stick of 10, okay? When we have our stick of 10 and we have 10 of these, we have what? 100, 10, 20, help me count, 30, 40, 50. Show you the other side. 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. 10 of these makes 100. 1, 10, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 tens equals 100. This is the same as these. What? How many of these little guys would I need? I don't have that many. it would take 100 of these to make this, or to make this. 100, not just one, not just 10. It would take 100 of these little guys to make the number 100. So when I show you that hundreds grid and I ask you to think, what do you notice? What were some things we noticed? There were 10 tens, 100 ones. There were lots of two-digit numbers. This number 100 is a 3-digit. It's the same as 100. It has 0 tens and 0 ones when it's all together, okay? Now, I have to tell you that we know that it is the same as 100, but it's also the same as 10 tens or 100 ones. There's different ways that we can show 100. So if we know that's 100, what would we know about 200? What would we know about 200? I'm gonna write the number 200 right here. And if we know what 100 is, what would we know about 200? This is something I call a hundreds, tens, and ones chart. And you're gonna see it a lot in 2nd grade. We have all of our hundreds, our tens, and our ones. And when we write a number in different ways, we can show it in those ways on this hundreds, tens, and ones chart. So let's start off. How many hundreds is 200 worth? 100, 200. Show me with your fingers. How many hundreds are in 200? 2. Now, when I have my 200s, do I have any sticks of 10? No, they're all stuck together. Do I have any ones by themselves? Nope, these are just all stuck together. So I have 0 tens and I have 0 ones. But what if I didn't have these? How many tens would I have? So this is way number 1. What's another way that I could make the number 200? What do you think? Let's go back and think about our 100, okay? If our 100 is worth 10 tens, how many tens would I have in 200? 100 is 10 tens. How much would 200 be? See if you can answer it. At home, go ahead and pause and give your student a chance to think about this. You can even draw it out if you want. You're right. It would take 20 of them. Because if 10, it makes 100, and we have to actually make 200, then we have to double that, don't we? And 10 is 20. So we would need 20. If we had 0 hundreds, we would have to have 20 tens. And if we had 20 tens, we still wouldn't have any ones left over. What if I didn't have any hundreds and I didn't have any 6 of 10? How many of these little guys would I have to make the number 200? You all are so smart. I would have to have 200 ones to make that number 200. Now I'm going to move my paper up a little bit for us to take a peek at, okay? Because I have another thing I want to show you. Especially as we dive into 3-digit numbers, you're going to see us writing these numbers in different ways. Because we don't have enough of these, or even these to draw all the numbers. So to show all the numbers. So we have to draw it sometimes. So when we draw it, you're going to see our hundreds drawn as big boxes with the number 100 written in it, or just knowing that those big boxes equals 100. You'll see a stick, which represent the tens. And then you'll see a tiny little square to represent the ones. Now, there are lots more ways to make the number 200 if I want to mix and match these numbers. But for right now, we're just gonna stick with how many hundreds would be in that number. What if we only had tens? And what if we only had ones? Our HTO chart or our hundreds, tens, and ones chart. See if you can know, or see if you know what number this is. Remember I told you, sometimes we draw our boxes and we write the number 100 in it. What number does it represent? What did I hear? How do you know that's worth 300? So when you say it, you might say 100, 200, 300. It sounds like you're skip counting, a lot like our tens. We can skip count by 100s too, can't we? So if you know that 300s, and we're gonna write that down, 300s, because this is a 1, 2, and 3. There are 3 of those sets of 100. 300s equals 300. Ooh, look at this awesome learning. Well, are you ready for the next one? I'm gonna draw one more, and then you're gonna have a chance to start writing those 100s to build 1,000. Ready for this one? Let's see if you can do it. 100, 100, 100, 100, 100. And in your math journals, I want you to write down what number this makes. Go ahead. What do I see? 500. But how do you know? Let's count it. Ready? 100. 200, 300, 400, and 500. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 500s equals 500. Yes! Very good work, second grade. Now, before we head off to start creating our big roll of 1,000, I want you to show me a little exit task. Are you ready? Here's your exit task. I want you to show me the number 400 in 2 different ways. Remember, I can show 100 as a one square of 100. I could have showed it like this. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. Or I could have drawn out 100 ones. Don't do that for the 400, please. We'll be counting them for days. But how could you show 400? Show me a way to show me 400. And then we'll go off and you'll get to draw numbers to make 1,000. Happy counting and building. Tomorrow, we will be diving into other 3-digit numbers that aren't just those nice, even 100s. See you tomorrow.